Hey guys, welcome back to weekly update / will Legion Imperialis ever come out?
It sounds like no. Oh, is it?
What is the Vegas line saying?
What is the Vegas line saying? Was the over
200 to 1 or something like that?
I think this week's update was the Games Workshop Warhammer Community Update was one of the most confusing, weirdest, most, also the most obvious. We have nothing left to give in this because this game was supposed to be out
for months.
And
it's August,
completely run dry. Yeah. So if you don't know what it is, if you haven't checked it already, I'm sure you have. It is basically they decided to take the last because it was every Heresy Thursday, so they took 3 months worth of or 4 months worth of weekly. So it was at least 16 or 18 weekly posts, and they just aggregated them.
Yeah, into a hub,
and they made a post about that.
Yeah. Check it out.
Check out all the other ones that
Please don't forget
about. And then, meanwhile, also no evidence at all of the release date.
Not a whisper of
nothing,
this is coming.
Nothing to say because they've been saying it's coming soon for about 8 of those 16 posts or whatever. They've been saying coming really
and you're looking at the calendar and you're like, okay, the holiday boxes are coming out.
Yeah.
For Black Friday.
Yep.
And traditionally, Games Workshop doesn't really even release anything in December.
No, but I do feel that in the last couple of years there has been some stuff released.
Yeah.
I feel like now, actually, I don't know when it is because they didn't do a good job of giving the date and time. But there's a Warhammer World Championships or something going on right now, and there's supposed to be a little preview there.
Oh.
But I don't even know what previews mean anymore because they're they make a preview and then the thing in the preview comes out the next day or whatever. The Stormcast Ionis guy and the. And the Sylvaneth Belthanos guy, they did a preview, and then 2 weeks later, they're like, it's coming out. You're like, oh, why'd you? Well, we know why they did it because the schedule's effed.
That is the reality here. Is I think what we're seeing is just chaos in motion or whatever, right? There's this. The sort of it kind of reminds it's a really weird way of the Loki timelines thing where you have this stream.
Oh, the branching.
The branching. You have this stream of normally their releases and their Warhammer community and and all the logistics. It's just one line. Yeah. Because you can't see all the stream. It's all unified.
The temporal loom is broken or whatever. Yeah.
And now you've just got this splitting happening where logistics is over here. Yeah. Warhammer community is still doing this.
Still doing this. They're still in the central timeline.
And everything else is branched off, and it's just it's creating basically a chaos timeline.
It is. Yeah, it's incredibly weird and frustrating.
And marketing is just weird when it's not linked up to anything.
I don't know. This is where some of our more industry expert friends, maybe Ash or someone probably knows, maybe a little bit more, but I guess there's the marketing team 2 people, and they just have this, they probably have it in the Facebook or whatever, the auto scheduler, and it's just all in there, and they put this in months in advance because I guess they would know, and they just keep every day they're making, probably the content page they're making today is probably for something in January or something. I can only assume because there's no. Or their management's just no, just look, we don't have time to make any other content, and we have nothing else to really, so just keep it.
Yeah, it does. It does one way to kind of make sense of it. It does feel like a lot of it's pre-generated early on, and and they have it in the pipeline to go out. But there's no sort of reactivity to it at all. Right?
It's created chaos. Yeah. So I guess some comments are going to be does anyone still? What's our excitement? Personally, I'm this isn't I'm not gonna doom and gloom it and be no, I hate this now. I'll never play this game. Obviously they're releasing a lot of stuff for it. They're not just doing a little. I was kind of shook by how much the other day they're oh, and here's the drop pods for your dreadnoughts and your regular. I was you're making tiny drop pods for this game.
2 types of tiny drop pods.
Wow, that's the
other ironic thing is this game has more support than Horse.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah, it turns out regular size Heresy is just no.
Oh man, it's we saw plastic quad mortars this size before we saw.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's hilarious, right?
Weird.
Isn't it funny?
How do you do that? How do you
the land speeders?
They're here's your 4-year-old Fulgrim, but we can make tiny plastic dreadnought drop pods.
What's up? What? We got it. Yeah.
So
and you got your second faction. You got like solar.
because it started with whatever they are, Solar Auxilla, and so it's and it has Tiny Titans and
my personal excitement has been pretty steady. I'd say like it probably peaked obviously in August
when we thought we were going to get it,
and it's gone down a bit, but like it's definitely a game I'm still going to pick up for sure. Like, I love the Horus Heresy period, and I just love the idea. I always loved Epic and never really got to play it that much. I love the idea of like just like ridiculous battle companies on the table. Like it's the kind of like battles that I really kind of wanted to do with Horus Heresy, and we kept trying to do with our group, but it's like logistically difficult to play like a 10,000, 20,000 point game. It takes so long, right? It takes
a long time.
Whereas in this game, like you can actually like probably do that in an hour and a half or whatever.
Plays on like a 4x4 or something.
It's like super clean, probably. So, I don't know.
So when do we think it's coming?
Jesus, man.
Again, this is the real.
Well, you got a real issue here. My thing is like your real issue is you don't really want to be releasing new game systems back to back, right? Like so you got Old World coming up. They said Q1.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's right. So January, February, March.
Obviously Q1 could be as late as March, right? So
yes.
If I'm a betting person, I'm saying like it would make sense for them to put it out in December.
Yeah.
Like just break their normal rules
just shove it out
in December, get it out before Christmas. Yeah. Or you've really got to put it out like really early January.
Yeah, like, January 2nd or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as we're back in our stores or whatever, they're like here.
Because I think if you're pushing it later than that, I feel like you're really risking. You're really risking.
Slightly worry about also the I don't know how they'll release it. Are they going to vomit it just all, or are they going to like?
That is concerning. The classic GW Firehose method.
Here's like 15 things or whatever, and you're like, stores are just getting crushed or whatever. See, that's the post Christmas would be bad.
Well, also
even middle of December, stores like us would have already like spent a lot of our pre-Christmas money. It's
a capital issue, right?
You're like,
it's also a wallet issue for a customer, right?
Yeah,
it's like there's no benefit to the customer putting out 8 expansion kits for Legion Imperialis in one weekend.
Yeah, but So I'm with you. I'm thinking probably December as well, but it could be. I want to say it's going to be a flop, but I could see it having a very slow, sluggish beginning. And it won't really get going until later. The other thing they could do, which I think would be kind of disastrous, but maybe not, because, I mean, if you don't have it in your hands, you don't have it in your hands. It's not like you got a thing and it was broken and then you're upset about it.
Yeah.
Is to wait a lot. Like, wait till...
Oh, just, really wait.
Wait till, I don't know, April or something, or, and just wait till all of the, the other key stuff is out, because there's a bit of a lull in that time of year.
Yeah.
Because your June, July's new big game edition, and I would have had Old World some time to deliver and start up or whatever. And then obviously the other thing coming is the Curses boxes.
Yep.
And so I don't know how excited you are about those. They're pretty, I don't know, average this year. Yeah,
I would say the average is good. I think if you're looking to collect any of those factions, I think they're pretty worth picking up. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them feel like if you already collect the faction, you're probably not picking it up because you're probably getting easy duplications on stuff.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are going to start armies with some of I think some of my favorite. I like the World Eater one is super good.
World Eater one is very good.
The fact that you get Angron and some Exalteds in there, it's just super tasty.
Maybe buy 2 and give away an Angron or something.
The Votan one looks really cool too.
Votan one
it's
is
got
very
the big
good.
bus and the small bus, and then it's got just chunky boys.
Yeah, so I think we both felt like the Marine and Tyranid one were slightly boring, but only because it's just the recent stuff.
Yeah,
but if you didn't pick any of that up, then here's your chance.
Yeah, the Tyranid one I think is better than the Marine one. The Marine one to me is only lackluster because they included units that people aren't excited about in there.
Yeah.
As the core of your savings.
The fillers.
The fillers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to sell because it's Marines. And
it's
people
Marines.
Want the new jump pack guys,
yeah, and I feel like the lineup was it smaller this year. It's 10 total boxes.
I think they did 6 and 4 last year. I think previously they've done more than that though.
Yeah, they're more careful on the AOS side. They're definitely
for sure.
They've learned was just going to focus. Although on the AOS side, it's they're good, but we had really good launch boxes for Chaos for Seraphon.
Yeah, they are confused, I'd say. There's this year you had the Slaves to Darkness come out and the Seraphon come out. It's a little disappointing to see like unit duplication in those boxes. I think they've kind of missed the point. Like, a lot of people that wanted to start Seraphon were able to get one of those boxes, and same with Slaves, right?
Also, they had a pretty awesome Bone Reaper one last year.
Yep.
So it's like,
it's kind of weird.
Bone Reapers are like becoming the, it's like for years I was like, it's actually surprising because there's no Tau 40k box, but that's a box that was almost like every year without fail there would be Tau.
Yeah, because
now it's the Bone Reapers.
You put suits in there, and people are like, I love this army. I'm gonna buy it. Like, and I almost always look at Tau box. And I'm like, is this the year?
We're gonna put 9
suits. Is this the year I'm buying this Tau box?
Riptide and a Storm Surge, and you're like, I'm in. Yeah,
it's like, woo.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah, so that's the main thing coming out. Well, the Christmas boxes are coming. Who knows about Legion? And yeah, we'd like to gauge interest. Like, what do people think about Legion at all? Like, because I mean, our own little bubble here with our friends, it's like there's like quiet excitement. Like we said, I think we will ultimately collect and play it a bit. But I don't know. I don't know what everyone else is thinking. I get some chatter from customers, but I mean, that whole game is kind of, I guess you could argue, a little bit of a risk because, like...
Yeah, I think a lot of the initial response is like, this is cool, but also, like, a bit of confusion, I suppose, as to why it's not just more stuff to kind of stabilize their bigger Age of Darkness game. Right. It's like, because, like, all that work in production and stuff like that, you're like, okay, well, they could have put out, like, a plastic Solar Auxiliary range or, like, Dark Mechanicum or a Mechanicum 30k range or something, and like kind of keep that game kind of flowing a little better.
It also feels like going back to our previous little bit about how many kits they're making for it. I feel like maybe they're trying to just complete it in one swoop and just like, let's get it out and then that's it, probably with like really minor support.
It's possible,
forward.
Yeah, and that's obviously the hesitancy some people have when they see games like that is there going to be support for it going forward? Like, how much more releases are we going to see?
So the minor hot take here is it doesn't need more support. It's like if you know what I mean? These are very specialist games.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be like, you buy it, you get all the kits you want, and then you just play it with a couple friends. It's not meant to be this like, year after year.
Yeah, I was watching a couple of actually just videos, nostalgic videos with, was it Rick Priestley?
Right.
And another one was like Andy Chambers. I was listening to them talk about like the Rick Priestley one was interesting, but like the Andy Chambers one was more specifically geared because he was working on a lot of the specialist game stuff, right? Yeah. And he talked a lot about like that sort of like that's the problem they kind of worked themselves into sometimes was with the specialist games is like they weren't always meant to kind of like continue forever.
No.
Like some of them were just like, oh, here's Gorka Morka.
Yeah.
It's a product. We have a couple releases for it, and then it's done. That's a project. And like that shouldn't be a bad thing, I don't think.
No.
Like we should encourage that. Like it's like a board game. Like it's like, this is cool, make it exists, and then maybe it like kind of rotates out for a while. And then they revisit it in a couple years or something. Like it's so we'll see what Legion Imperialis actually turns into. If it's that or it's more of like a staple that they plan on keeping around. Who knows?
Yeah. No one knows.
Nobody knows.
Much like a lot of things. I mean, at least we have a date for the old world, but I still don't know what that's going to look like. Well, sorry, we don't have a date.
We had a date for Legion Imperialis.
Oh yeah, we did. I don't know that's true. We had a hard date for Imperialis, and we have no hard date, but we have a block of time. Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think about Legion Imperialis? You excited? You skeptical?
Will buy, won't buy.
Yeah. Say whether you're going to buy it or not, because I think that's the biggest sort of like. I think that's the biggest determining factor. Really? Is like when it's like, are you going to buy it or not? Because I think everything else is kind of like meaningless.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And we'll see you next time for another weekly update.
Thanks.